Hey everybody, this is Dan in Jonesboro. Wanted to make an April Fool's video, but it's not April 1st. So it's still March 31st, so the hell with that idea. I'm not going to do an April Fool's video. I don't like jokes anyway. Unless it's Steve Harvey or Bernie Mac, somebody like that. I'm not a joker. But what I want to do is do another straight shooting video. And we're going to learn something this time. Okay, I want you to pay attention to this word right here. This word is serfdom. Not Nerf footballs, not turf that you play with. Serfdom. And let's find out what serfdom means. Serfdom is the status of peasants under feudalism, specifically relating to manorialism. It was a condition of bondage or modified slavery which developed primarily during the Middle High Ages in Europe and lasted to the middle 19th century. So don't worry about the big words in the beginning. We'll go over those later in another video, or maybe I'll just put the definitions down. But I want you to pay attention to it was a condition of bondage or modified slavery which developed primarily during the High Middle Ages. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? That's basically somebody that was free but wasn't free. That was somebody that owed somebody something, that depended on somebody. Now, there was a social class within serfdom. And let's break the serf class system down. The social class of peasants was often broken down into smaller categories. These distinctions were often less clear than suggested by their different names, meaning there were gray areas. They intermingled with each other, which means exactly what it means. Most often, there were two types of peasants: free men, sound familiar? Whose tenure within the manor was freehold, and villains. And this word is spelled V-I-L-L-E-I-N-S. We take it as villains. V-I-L-L-I-A-N-S. Same word, but that was the original word. Lower classes of peasants, known as cottars, C-O-T-T-A-R-S, generally comprising the younger sons of villains. Now, think about it. Cottars generally comprise the younger sons of villains or boarders in the British Isles, and slaves made up the lower class of workers. Isn't that something? Now, what was a freeman? A freeman or free tenants held their land by one of a variety of contracts of feudal land tenure, and were essentially rent-paying tenant farmers who owed little or no service to the lords and had a good degree of security of tenure and independence. In parts of 11th century England, freemen made up only 10% of the peasant population, and in the rest of Europe, their numbers were small. Which means these were basically the elite class of the serf. It's not a lot of them. They didn't owe a lot to master or the lords, and they were allowed to get their riches, but they still had to answer to the Lord. What was a villain? The second rung. A villain was the most common type of serf in the Middle Ages. Villains had more rights and higher status than the lowest serf, but existed under a number of legal restrictions that differentiated them from freemen. So there were a distinct difference between these people and the freemen, which were the elite class. Villains generally rented small homes, or what we call in America today starter homes, with or without land. As part of the contract with the landlord, the lord of the manor, they were expected to spend some of their time working on the Lord's field, The requirement often was not greatly onerous, contrary to popular belief, and was often only seasonal. For example, the duty of work at harvest time. The rest of their time was spent farming their own land for their own profit. Like other types of serfs, they were required to provide other services, possibly in addition to paying rent or money for the use and production or buying of produce. Villains were tied to the land and could not move away without their lord's consent and the acceptance of the lord to whose manor they proposed to migrate to. Villains were generally able to hold their own property, unlike slaves. Villainage, as opposed to other forms of serfdom, was most common in continental European feudalism, where land ownership had developed from roots in Roman law. Now we get to the bottom of what we call borders. And we know what that is. The status of boarders or cottagers ranked below a serf in the social hierarchy of a manor. Holding a cottage, gardening just enough land to feed a family. In England at the time of Doomsday survey, this would have been between 1 and 5 acres. So basically, boarders and cottagers were sort of the different speaking serfs, basically the outcast, basically the outcast, and that's what it was. The cotters, those are the last dudes, man. The last dudes. But the last type of serf was what was called a slave. The last type of serf was the slave. Now let's go back to the cotters real quick. The cotters were people that spoke, basically, when I say outcast, these are the people that spoke different languages. Foreigners that came in that accepted the serfdom system, lived under it, and were granted certain things just to get by. You're a foreigner, you got different languages, whatever. Sounds familiar to you? Now, the last type, slaves. The last type of serf was the slave. Slaves had the fewest rights and benefits from the manor. They owned no tenancy in land, worked for the Lord exclusively, and survived on donations from the landlord. It was always in the interest of the Lord to prove that a servile arrangement existed, as this provided him with greater rights to fees and taxes. The status of a man was a primary issue in determining a person's rights and obligations in many of the manorial courts of this period. Also, runaway slaves could be beaten if caught. Man, I've been saying in my videos, slaves for the longest. Slaves for the longest. Now, let's take religion out of the debate, because I really don't like talking about stuff that incites people. I like grouping everybody together. If the shoe fits, wear it. And this basically is not even a black or white issue. This is a caste system issue. An issue which is prevalent in American society. This is a system that our European brothers brought from Europe, that they instituted right here in good old US of A. Serfdom still existed in Russia in 1857, while Frederick Douglass spoke about freedom in 1848 in America. Now you think about it now. If they had 23.1 million serfs in 1857 in Russia, and that encompasses a whole lot of Europe, Asia. Now keep in mind, these same people migrated to Poland, Germany, went all through the flux. Now all these people migrated to what? America. Became the founding fathers, were the founding fathers in 1776, whatever you want to call it. The dates really don't matter, but 1776. Think about it, people. Why don't people see this? Why don't people see this? Now you can imagine between these three classes, man, the freemen probably thought they had it going on too. I ain't no slave, I got gold. I ain't no slave, I ride on private jets. And then here are the villains, the middle class of modern day America. Man, I ain't like them niggas in the ghetto. We have subdivisions, but still slaves, still serfs. Then here comes the boarders and the cottagers, which we can call today foreigners, for lack of a better word. Those are Mexican people that come here, and I have no problem with my Hispanic brothers and sisters because we know that they were ran from this place that used to be theirs, but we have to call a spade a spade. Then you got slaves, and I don't even have to tell you who those people are. I don't even have to tell you who those people are. You already know. So the only thing I'm saying, and what I'll do is include an excerpt from a speech by Marcus Garvey in the bottom. This one specific area where he spoke of the majority. People, we're serfs. We're fighting against each other as serfs. And that's all we'll ever be until we truly have power in America.